Builders of Greece is a game that I've had my eye on for a while. It's a complete city builder game that promises to immerse you into the world of ancient Greece. And believe me when I say it, it's done its job. This city management game has already made me fall in love with historical city builders. And I really like the ability to control aspects of your city's life, setting taxes, taking over resource-rich terrains, and increasing the population of your empire. Now this is common in other city builders like Anno 1800 and Caesar. At the same time, apart from setting taxes and building houses, including putting a warehouse to store resources, I didn't think that made much of an impact regarding personal decisions. Now, I got invited to try out the Prologue, and the Prologue is really good. It does give you an established number of city buildings that you can build. You can have tiers of levels 1 to 3, and of course these will be unlocked in future updates. Now that's something I applaud, but it would be nice to see your citizens attending the festival, partying or dancing, because ancient Greek life was not all misery and pain. It was of fun, literature, music, enjoyment. It was basically the foundation of classical civilization. Now while this game is still in development, it has impressed me for the future. Now the full potential of the game means there's so much historical content out there in this game. You could create your own literal ancient Greece style city if you wanted. And perhaps you could provide a little bit of competition to total war in one way or the other. Now of course, as I've said, there will be a full list of features that will be added on later in future updates. This is my early impression of the Prologue, so let's have a look. Now let's examine the resources of the gameplay. I think it was relatively easy to start building your houses, towns and roads. It's as easy as starting a woodcutter and seeing your citizens rush towards to gather wood. Same with the hunter's lodge, stone quarry or clay pit. I like this seamless transition and the fact that it's easier. Compared to some other city building games that I've tried, like Land of the Vikings, I think it's much more smoother. But like many of these games, gathering resources once you figure it out becomes a piece of cake. But somehow, some areas are lacking. Sure, you can accumulate as many resources as needed, but the impact of having those resources and then building it, it just felt like you could build 2-3 houses, that's it, get your resources and that's it. There wasn't much of a challenge or impact, and I want some challenge and I want some opposition when I'm gathering these resources. So let me explain further. For example, if I play Age of Empires 2 and I need to get to the feudal age, I need 200 pieces of food and 400 wood. I am not advocating a time limit or filter or an age barrier in terms of gathering resources or anything like that. What I'm saying is I could quickly get to 600 for each resource and not worry about having to do much after that. For a sandbox mode, great. From a Prologue standpoint, I see why they went light with the features here. I want resources to have more initial restrictions to a degree. As in, do you want to hunt livestock? Well, here's a pack of dangerous creatures to stop you from doing it. Maybe there's wild boar. Maybe there's a pack of wolves. Maybe when you, let's say, gather sheep, wolves come and attack it, right? So you build a barracks to send troops out to hunt them down. I think that's absolutely great. This is something I want to see. I'd like to see actual tornadoes impact your town. I would actually like to see floods. I would like to see that if you anger the gods, they send a flood or something like that. And how if you get those disasters, you risk losing skilled laborers or really important buildings that were giving you food or wood, or you get plagues, you get all sorts of issues. Alright? So these are the things I want to see. And we only saw one class of, let's say, villagers. We haven't seen the other classes as well. So I want to see more of what will come in the future in terms of building these nice buildings, getting, your upper versus lower class. I want to see all of it. It looks really fantastic. At one point I was covering the whole island. Sure, it was fun. But at the same time it became boring because there wasn't much else to do apart from just building houses, etc. Now, when I say this, I've played Anno 1800, okay? I've built a town, I built a city, and I've sort of just expanded in that island. And when I've done that, I don't mind. That's fine. That's what I would have done. But what I'm saying is maybe I could have stumbled upon temples, ruins. You could have had a Halloween vibe and all that type of stuff. All of that stuff I think is going to be made for future updates, because the prologue is not going to have everything. Right? There were a few dilemmas, a few events here and there. But at the same time, I really wanted more. So I think the resource system is great. I do want restrictions on like fully destroying every single resource, because I don't think that should be the case. That should only be the case if it is a sandbox mode, for example. Or why not have the option that I notice in most city building games, you don't have the option to regrow livestock or regrow forest or do something like that. I would like if builders of Greece would be able to do that. So if you took down one forest, you can regrow it, but it's going to cost you money. It's going to cost you everything. So I want to see things like that come in the game. So let's go on to the buildings, and then I'll discuss the future potential of what I'm seeing about this game so far. Many of the buildings are said to be historically accurate and researched. That's great, but the prologue sometimes didn't make me feel like I was bouncing much with residential zones or administrative institutions. As in, they weren't helping me much with the economy, so I could build 10 houses and build a warehouse here. It's not having much of an impact in terms of economy. Let me explain. You have the freedom to create your city, your residential zone, etc. But at one point, as I build up my town, I often feel that the game should warn you not to overextend. As I've explained earlier, you want to save livestock, you want to preserve forests, you want to preserve resources, and this could be an excellent motive to stop rapidly expanding, say if you're on a small island as compared to a big gigantic city. Alright, you obviously want to avoid ending up cutting resources that your city needs, and I want to see planned versus non-planned. As in sandbox mode, do whatever you want. But in a planned mode, you can build a civic, military, economic type of city, and you have to be careful in what you build. So if I build a governor's barracks, that could have a huge amount of upkeep. Alright, keeping these many troops is going to cost me money, and keeping that many troops in the city while the city is being attacked, it could be disaster, it could be riots, it could be anything. I want more personal dilemmas, more personal events, etc. Your advisor could recommend you building a scientific building as compared to people that just want a party. I want to see events like that. So the game's aim is to help you maintain a balance between residential zones, etc. I think there needs to be a balance, and when I was playing, it just felt like you could just build anything and nothing's happening. So I wanted to see things being changed. Now I didn't progress to building military stuff or recruiting units. I really love the technology tree. I think it's absolutely fantastic. As you can see, there is potential for military battles. I'm liking the trend of city builder games like Manor Lords and other games like this to adopt more RTS features, and we'll see the city combat in future content. The potential for multiplayer would make it as if it is Age of Empires in a sense. Just imagine, you could play Athens or Sparta or Corinth or Thebes, and you could start doing all of this cool multiplayer stuff, so that'd be great. So overall, Builders of Greece, the prologue from what I've tried, absolutely fantastic. I would definitely recommend checking it out. Add it to your wishlist. It's going to definitely bring some great competition. I 100% recommend it. So don't forget to leave a like. So don't forget to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe, and stay tuned for more strategy content.